Nova walked into the training yard with her head low. The heat of 2 suns pressed down on her pale green skin. Her uniform felt stiff and strange. She drew her hood over her hair and kept her eyes on the ground. Other cadets stared at her as she passed. Some whispered. Others laughed. She heard icy words. "What is she?" An alien joke. Nova clenched her fists and hurried forward. She had arrived at Solar Academy half an hour ago. She had learned many languages, studied alien cultures, and passed many tests. But she had never felt so alone. Cadet Ethan stood by the drill station. He tapped his foot and glanced at Nova. He smirked and nudged his friend. Lily froze and stared at Nova. Nova imagined they saw her pale green eyes glint and her long fingers twitch. She pulled the hood tighter. Captain Reed's voice rang. "Out. Cadets, gather in formation." A dozen cadets snapped to attention. Nova stood at the end. She marveled at the tall arches and bright flags of the academy. A wind stirred small dust whirlwinds around her boots. Captain Reed walked down the line. He paused at Nova. He looked at her eyes and nodded once. "You may join us?" Some cadets snickered. Nova bowed her head and moved forward. She felt the weight of many eyes. The drills began. Each cadet drew a training saber from its stand. Nova's hand shook at first. The metal felt heavy and cold. She had practiced saber use in her quarters, but she had never held a real blade. She closed her eyes and remembered her father's lessons. He had shown her how to channel calm and focus. Nova exhaled steadily and opened her eyes. She raised the saber. The purple blade hummed. She had never seen this color on any blade before. Her father had explained the energy type was rare on her homeworld. She felt proud. The drills moved quickly. Nova's classmates parried and thrust with fluid motions. Many smiled at each other when they saw her. She took a deep breath. She planted her feet wide and called to mind her practice. She shifted her stance. A flash of green light marked the start. Nova lunged forward. She allowed the saber to flow with her energy. She felt the hum respond. Her blade struck the practice dummy with a soft hum. She spun and cut again. She felt the steel edge pass cleanly through the air. Her mind cleared. A cadet beside her lunged fiercely. Nova blocked the strike with her beam. She countered lightly. The cadet stumbled back and hissed. He raised an eyebrow. "Not bad," he muttered. Nova did not reply. Her heart pounded. Sweat beaded on her brow. The drill ended. Captain Reed called, "Reset." The cadet stepped back. Nova released her grip and the blade retracted with a snap. Some cadets clapped. Others glared at her. Ethan folded his arms and frowned. "Alien girl," he called, "show us a trick." Nova closed her eyes. She recalled her father's stories of humans who fought with honor. She did not want to become the monster they expected. She opened her eyes and shook her head. "I fight fair," she said softly. Her voice wavered. Some cadets laughed louder. Lily frowned. Captain Reed came forward. He spoke in a calm voice. "Nova, remain here." "Cadets, dismiss." Cadets stepped away. Nova stood by the dummy, heart still racing. Captain Reed placed a gloved hand on her shoulder. "Nova," he said, "you have skill, but you must learn control. Run the obstacle course now, and then see me." Nova swallowed. Her mouth felt dry. She bowed to him. "Yes, Captain." She walked to the obstacle course. She did not want to run. She felt hot and tired. Her uniform chafed. Her disc walker hovered by the path, ready for practice. She stepped onto the path. When the light turned green, she sprinted. Her legs pumped. She leaped over low barriers. She ducked under swinging beams. She leaped again. Her mind felt sharp, like cold water. She sprang onto a narrow beam. She balanced easily. She felt the wind brush her cheeks. She jumped down behind a wall. She vaulted over a final barrier and slid to a stop. Her chest heaved. She checked her time. It was average. Other cadets sprinted past her, but she had not fallen. Nova breathed in the dusty air. She pushed the hood back. She wiped sweat from her forehead. She felt her own strength. She had earned a passing mark. She approached the exit. Captain Reed waited. He held his tablet and tapped his chin. "Nova, come here." She moved forward. "Your time is safe." but you do not trust yourself. You fight with too much caution. Nova nodded. I will train you personally. Meet me in the practice room at dusk. Nova bowed her head. Thank you, Captain. He stepped back. Nova watched him return to the drills. She felt both proud and scared. She left the yard. Students buzzed around. She heard Lily call her name. Lily ran to her. She reached out to steady Nova. Hi, Nova. I saw your run. You moved well. I wanted to say sorry for before. Nova blinked. Sorry? Lily looked down at her shoes. I laughed when Ethan mocked you. He is a bully. I did not join, but I stayed silent. That was wrong. Nova shook her head. It is not your fault. Lily raised her head. It is. We are supposed to help each other. Thank you, Nova said. She forced a small smile. They walked side by side through the archway. The sky glowed orange. Nova felt some warmth in her chest. Lily's words gave her hope, but she knew more challenges would come. She still felt every whisper. Every stair. At dusk, Nova would meet Captain Reed again. For now, she would return to her quarters. She opened the door and stepped inside. She felt the cool air. She pulled off her boots and set them neatly by the bed. She sat at the desk and opened her datapad. She wrote a message home. Father, today was hard. Many cadets laughed. Yet Captain Reed chose me. I will not let you down. She stared at the screen. She thought of her father. He was human, living on Earth. He had sent her to learn about aliens. He believed in peace. Nova touched the pad. She felt courage in her chest. She rose and walked to the small mirror. She removed her hood. She looked at her reflection. Pale green skin and bright eyes. She saw power. She saw hope. She whispered to herself, I will show them who I am. She turned off the light and lay on the bed. The sun set behind the dunes. Nova closed her eyes and dreamed of tomorrow. Nova woke early the next morning. Dawn light filtered through the small window of her quarters. She felt sore from yesterday's training. Her arms ached from the saber drills. Her legs felt tight from the obstacle course, yet she looked forward to her personal session with Captain Reed. She dressed quickly in her training suit. She brushed her pale green hair back and tied it. She left the quarters without breakfast. She walked to the practice room in the Academy's east wing. In the bright practice room, Captain Reed waited. The room was empty. Dust motes floated in sunbeams. Practice sabers hung on the wall. Nova bowed. Good morning, Captain. Captain Reed nodded. He wore simple clothes. His eyes were calm. Nova, we will work on your control today. Come forward. Nova stepped to the center. She faced a target dummy shaped like a tall figure. Captain Reed stood beside her. First, he said, focus on your breath, calm your mind. Do not let fear or anger shape your strikes. Nova closed her eyes. She inhaled slowly. She felt her heart slow. She remembered her father's calm voice. Captain Reed placed a hand on her shoulder. Now open your eyes. Nova opened them. She lifted a saber from the rack. The purple light glowed. Strike lightly, Reed said. Touch the dummy, no power, feel the blade's weight. Nova tapped the dummy. It hummed softly. She tapped. Again, she felt the vibration through her arm. She let the saber drop and breathe again. Good, Reed said. Now heavy strikes. He lifted a green saber and demonstrated a wide arc. The blade cut air and hissed. Nova watched every move. She raised her own saber. She struck with care. The dummy shook. A faint dent appeared. She lowered the saber. Sweat formed on her brow. Reed nodded. Better, now move. Flecks of dust swirled as Nova lunged. She swung down. She spun and sliced upward. Each motion flowed. She felt her energy. After a dozen strikes, Reed called. Stop. Nova lowered her blade. Her chest heaved. She wiped sweat. Reed said, You are too stiff. Your strength is high, but your flow is low. Dreams of power make you tense. Nova bowed her head. I will try, Reed sighed. We will continue. He guided her through footwork. They moved through patterns. He corrected her stance. He praised her when she improved. After 2 hours, Nova's arms ached. Her legs shook. Sweat soaked her uniform. Yet she felt calm. Reed said, "Rest." He gave her water. She drank deeply. Nova looked at him. "Captain, why help me? I am an alien." "Cadets call me strange." Reed paused. He sat on a bench. He gestured for her to join. She sat. Reed said, "Your father is human, yes?" Nova blinked. "Yes, father is human scientist." Reed said, "You have two worlds in you, human and alien. That makes you unique. You face more burdens, but it also gives you strengths." Nova nodded slowly. She felt a warmth. Reed continued, "Humans fight with heart. Aliens fight with instinct. You have both. You can learn to balance." Nova listened. She said, "I want to be strong. I want to earn respect." Reed looked at her. "Respect is earned by honor. Not by power alone. You have honor. But you must trust yourself." Nova bowed. She felt pride. They trained until midday. Reed taught her meditation. He guided her energy through exercises. Nova learned to calm her mind. When she left, her back felt straighter. Her steps felt sure. Over the next days, Nova joined classes. She stood taller. She walked with purpose. She still heard whispers, but she held her head high. Lily visited her in the dormitory. Lily said, "Nova, can I join you for dinner?" Nova smiled. "I would like that." At dinner, Nova and Lily sat together. They ate simple food. Nova tasted spice from her homeworld. Lily asked, "What was training like?" Nova explained the meditation. She told of lessons on balance. Lily listened. She said, "You are brave. I am glad to know you." Nova said, "Thank you." Outside, cadets laughed. Nova saw Ethan's group. Ethan glared at her. Nova looked away. Lily sighed, "Ignore them." Nova nodded. That night, she dreamed of her father. He taught her in a green field on Earth. She woke with hope. 5 days later, Nova faced her toughest test yet. The academy announced a team exercise. Cadets would form pairs. They would navigate a simulated battlefield. Obstacles, puzzles, and dangers awaited. Nova stood in the yard. Teams formed. Lily joined Nova. Nova felt comfort. The teams moved into the field. Dust swirled. Wind howled. Holo targets flashed. Puzzles glowed. Nova and Lily worked together. Nova used her alien sight to find hidden paths. Lily decoded symbols. They reached the first checkpoint. A locked gate barred their path. Symbols glowed. Lily studied the pattern. She pressed a sequence. The gate opened. Ethan single quotes S team raced ahead. Ethan sneered at Nova. Nova ignored him. After many challenges, Nova and Lily reached a high ledge. Beyond lay the final marker. Nova climbed. Her hands found grips. She pulled herself up. Lily followed. On the ledge, they saw Ethan struggling below. He had fallen into a pit? Robo-guards approached. Lily gasped. Nova said, "I can help." She reached into her pack. She pulled a small device from her homeworld. It hummed with green light. She set it on the ground. She pressed a button. A force shield rose, blocking the robo-guards. Ethan climbed up swiftly. He staggered beside Nova. Ethan panted. "Thank you." Nova nodded. She deactivated the shield. It vanished. Lily smiled. They crossed to the marker. Nova touched it. Lights blinked. Red to green. A horn sounded. The exercise ended. Cadets gathered. Captain Reed announced results. First place, Team 7. Second place, Team 9, he said. Nova waited. Third place, Lily and Nova. Lily cheered. Nova felt joy. Ethan approached. He extended a hand. Nova shook it. Ethan said, "I was wrong. You are good." Nova said, "Thank you." Later, cadets asked Nova about the shield. She explained it came from her home world. Curiosity replaced mockery. HFY evening, Nova returned to her quarters. She wrote home, "Father, I made progress. People see me differently now. I have friend. I learned to balance human and alien." "Thank you." She placed the pad aside. She lay on her bed and looked at the ceiling. She thought of tomorrow. Nova whispered, "I will show them peace and strength." She closed her eyes and drifted to sleep. The sun shone bright on the desert testing grounds. Nova and Lily stood at the edge of the field. Today's task was alone. Each cadet must solve a challenge. No help from teammates. Nova took a deep breath. She felt calm. She remembered Captain Reed's words. "Trust yourself," Cadet Ethan sneered. "Good luck, alien girl," he said. Nova nodded politely. She carried her pack and her datapad. Lily touched her arm. "You can do it," she whispered. Nova walked forward. She saw a silver dome with a glowing entrance. A holoscreen displayed a puzzle. The spiral code, numbers and symbols spun slowly. Nova approached. She tapped the screen. The symbols glowed. She knelt and studied the code. Lucas, a coder cadet, had explained this puzzle in class. Nova recalled the alien language pattern. Spirals meant second position. She tapped number 2. The screen flashed red. She tapped again. The red light remained. She held her breath. She studied the pattern again. She saw the small mark on the spiral's tail. It pointed up. She tapped number 3. The screen blinked green. The door hissed open. Other cadets cheered. Nova stood and entered. Inside was a rocky canyon with 2 paths, one narrow, one wide. A timer counted down. Nova chose narrow. She squeezed through cracked walls. Dust fell around her. At the path's end, a hologram of a large beast roared. The beast blocked her route. She reached into her pack. She had no energy shield today. She backed away. She remembered her alien senses. She could emit a soft call to calm animals. She drew a small flute from her pack. She raised it to her lips. She played a low melody. The holobeast paused. The roar softened. The beast's glowing eyes dimmed. Nova played again. The beast lay down. The door behind it opened. Nova walked forward. She passed through the beast. Adrenaline pulsed in her veins. She felt both fear and pride. She had passed the second trial. Next, a field of glowing rocks. Each rock hummed at a different pitch. A sign read, "Cross in harmony." Nova stepped carefully. She recalled Earth music theory. She hummed a scale. She matched pitches. She stepped on a rock that hummed C, then D, then E. She reached the end safely. The timer read 10 minutes left. Nova ran to the final zone. It was a shallow pit filled with liquid. A floating key hovered above. The pit glowed with green light. Nova knew the liquid would burn. She needed a tool. She scanned the walls. She found a long rod. She reached it. She pressed it against the key. The key lifted. She retracted the rod. She crossed the pit. She grabbed the key. The key unlocked the exit door. Nova stepped outside. She breathed deeply. Sand and heat greeted her. Cadets watched. Some clapped. Ethan stood silent. Captain Reed strode forward. He checked his datapad. He nodded at her. "Nova, well done," he said. Nova bowed. "Thank you, Captain." He looked at his pad. "You finished third fastest. But you had courage in the trials. That counts." Nova felt warmth. She saw pride in Lily's eyes. Later, cadets gathered in the main hall. Results were posted. Nova saw her rank. 3. Lily was 2. Ethan was 4. Cadets whispered about Nova's flute trick. A few asked her how she learned the melody. Nova explained in simple words. They listened. After the hall emptied, Lily and Nova walked outside. Lily smiled. "Nova, you amaze me." Nova shook her head. "I follow what I know." Lily said, "You are special." Suddenly alarms blared. Red lights flashed. A voice echoed, "Intruder alert. Security breach in East Wing." Nova's heart raced. Lily grabbed her hand. They ran toward the alarm. Captain Reed's voiceover: "Come unit. Cadets stay in place." Nova and Lily reached a corridor. Doors closed behind them. Smoke filled the hall. They coughed. Lily said, "What is happening?" Nova held Lily's arm. "Follow me." She led Lily to a side door marked maintenance. She had seen the door yesterday. She opened it. Inside was a small stairwell. They climbed up. They burst into the roof area. The sky was orange. Dust blew. They heard shouts below. Aliens with dark armor patrolled. They held blaster rifles. Nova's eyes widened. Lily gasped. "They are aliens," Captain Reed predicted. Nova said, "They aim to stop Academy." Lily said, "We should warn someone." Nova shook her head. They will lock down the wing. We must help cadets inside. Lily went tense. How? Nova pointed. See that control panel? She pointed to a small box on the roof edge. I accessed it yesterday. It opens emergency hatches. She climbed onto the panel. She opened the box. Wires glowed. She pressed a switch. A hatch on the ground floor hissed. It slid open. Nova said, That hatch leads to main yard. Cadets can escape. Lily nodded. Please hurry. They ran to the stairwell. They descended carefully. Smoke thickened. They heard alien boots. They reached the hatch door. Nova shook it. It stuck. Lily helped. They pushed together. The hatch creaked and opened into the yard. They jumped out. Dust swirled. Cadets ran in all directions. Captain Reed appeared. He held a blaster. He fired a flare to signal security. He saw Nova. He called out, Nova! Nova approached. Lily followed. Reed said, Good work, cadet. You saved many. Nova bowed. I just followed the path. Reed said, Your choices were right. That shows your character. Lily said, Your father would be proud. Nova smiled. Security forces arrived. They chased the invaders away. Alarms stopped. Cadets cheered. That evening, Nova walked alone to the practice yard. She stood at the center. She held her saber. She raised it. She practiced slow cuts. She remembered the trials and the rescue. She felt strength. She felt calm. She whispered to the empty yard, I will protect and serve both worlds. She powered down her saber. She left the yard as the sun set. 3 days later, a formal dinner was held in the Grand Hall of Solar Academy. Tall columns reached the ceiling. Light from crystal chandeliers gleamed like stars. Cadets and instructors gathered in uniform. Nova entered with Lily at her side. Nova's heart pounded. News of her father had spread. Rumors filled the hall. Her father was a human hero, a scientist who saved worlds. Some cadets stared in awe. Others whispered. Nova walked with Lily. They passed tables laden with alien fruits, human dishes, and sparkling drinks. Nova felt the weight of many eyes on her pale green skin. Yet she held her head high. Captain Reed greeted them. He stood with other instructors. He bowed. Nova and Lily, welcome. Nova bowed. Thank you, Captain. Reed said, Enjoy the evening. Nova and Lily found seats at the main table. Other cadets sat around them. Nova's uniform bore her new rank stripes from her trials. A server approached. Nova looked at the plate. Sautéed fish with alien herbs. Lily tasted it and smiled. Nova tried a small bite. The flavors danced on her tongue. She smiled. A hush fell. Commander Hayes stood. He was tall and stern. He wore silver armor. He raised a glass. He said, Tonight we honor unity. Nova, daughter of human Dr. Colin Sinclair, stands here among us. She shows that different worlds can join in peace. Let us raise our glasses. Cadets and instructors lifted glasses. Nova felt warmth. She raised her glass. She looked at Lily. After the toast, music began. Alien musicians played stringed instruments. Human singers joined with soft voices. Lily tugged Nova's arm. Let us dance. Nova frowned. She had never danced. She followed Lily to the floor. Music pulsed. They moved slowly. Nova felt self-conscious. She kept her eyes on Lily's feet. A cadet approached. He offered his hand. May I? Lily smiled and nodded. Nova touched his hand. He led her in a simple step. Nova followed. She felt the beat. She glanced around. Other cadets watched in. Silence. She moved with care. She matched his pace. He guided her gently. Nova's worry faded. She smiled. Laughter and applause followed. Nova felt lighter. After dancing, Nova walked with Lily to the balcony. Cool night air greeted them. 2 moons shone. Stars sparkled. Lily said, Nova, you were wonderful. Nova laughed softly. I never thought I could dance. Lily leaned on the railing. You surprise us all? Nova stared at the moons. She said, Everyone knows my father is human. They respect me now, but I wonder if they like me. Lily turned to her. They do. They respect and like you. You show kindness and courage. Nova said, I still feel different. Lily said, "Different is good. It means you bring new strength." Nova nodded. Lily touched her arm. "Promise me we will stay friends." Nova placed her hand over Lily's. "I promise." They returned inside. The dinner ended. Cadets cheered. Nova felt proud. The next day, drills resumed. Nova stood at the front. Cadets stepped aside. They gave her space. Nova led practice. She taught them her meditation techniques. They followed and felt calm. Ethan watched. He joined too. He struggled but tried. Captain Reed observed from afar. At the end, Reed approached. He said, "You lead." "Well, Nova said, "I follow what I learned." Reed nodded. "Your father's teachings and your heart guide you." Nova smiled. That night, Nova returned to her quarters. She found a package from Earth. Her father had sent supplies. She opened it. Inside, she found letters and a small hollow projector. She loaded a message. Her father's voice appeared. He smiled. "My daughter, I am proud. You show our worlds can unite. Keep your heart strong. I love you." Nova felt tears. She whispered, "Father." She looked at Lily. Lily sat on the bed. Nova motioned Lily closer. Lily watched the message. They held hands. The next morning, Nova awoke early. She stepped outside. The horizon glowed pink. She looked at the dunes. She thought of her journey. From lonely cadet to respected leader. From bullied alien to uniting voice. She raised her head and whispered, "This is only the start." A week passed since the formal dinner. Nova and Lily grew closer. They studied together, practiced drills, and shared meals. Nova's confidence grew. She no longer flinched at stares. On a clear morning, an urgent message echoed through the academy. "All cadets report to command center." Nova and Lily raced across the yard. Dust kicked up around their boots. Inside the command center, holographic maps hovered above a table. Captain Reed and Commander Hayes stood by the table. Nova and Lily joined other cadets. Commander Hayes said, "An alien fleet approaches Solaria. Their ships are unmarked. They show no symbols of alliance members." Gasps filled the room. Nova's heart thudded. Lily gripped her arm. Reed said, "We do not know their intent. We must be ready." Hayes continued, "Cadets will support the defense. Nova, we need your skills." Nova swallowed. "Yes, Captain." The cadets moved out. Nova and Lily followed Reed to Hangar Bay 4. Starfighters glimmered under bright lights. Reed said, "Nova, Lily, join pilot training." Lily looked anxious. Nova nodded. "We will." They climbed into simulation pods. Nova settled into the seat. The pod closed with a hiss. Outside, lights dimmed. The simulation began. Warning alarms blared. Hala enemies swarmed. Nova gripped the controls. She recalled her father's lessons about human reflexes. She guided the craft through debris. She fired photon blasts. She dodged enemy fire. Beside her, Lily strained. She sputtered commands. Nova guided her, up and left. "Fire now." Lily followed. Enemy craft exploded. The simulation ended. Lights returned. Reed nodded. "Good work. Your teamwork is strong." Nova exhaled. She stepped out. Lily waved. Later. They boarded real fighters. Reed and Hayes flew with them. The hangar doors opened. The sky glowed red as the fleet neared. Nova's fighter rocked. She felt fear but steadied her breath. She swept the sky for targets. Enemy ships loomed. They fired. Nova banked right. Laser bolts zipped past. She locked onto a small ship. She fired. Impact. The ship spun away. Lily's voice crackled. "Nova, behind you!" Nova turned. 2 fighters closed in. She flipped upside down. She fired upward. One ship blew apart. Reed's voice. "Nova, push forward." She pressed the thrusters. She dove into the formation. She weaved between ships. Several minutes later, the enemy retreated. The cadet squadron cheered over. "Comlinks." Back at base. Nova's fighter landed. She climbed out, knees shaking. Lily rushed to her side. Lily said, "You were amazing." Nova smiled weakly. "We did it." Commander Hayes approached. He saluted. "Cadet Nova, you and Cadet Lily played key roles. You helped defend Solaria." Hayes paused. He raised a holo message. It showed unmarked ships retreating. They came to test us. They will return. We must be ready. Nova felt the weight of his words. That night, Nova and Lily sat on a dune overlooking the academy. Distant lights glowed. Their fighters rested below. Lily said, I was so scared. Nova said, so was I, but we protect each other. Lily leaned on her shoulder. I am proud of you. Nova looked at the moons. She whispered, I protect both worlds. Lily asked, do you think your father had tests like this? Nova shook her head. No, but he taught me courage. The wind carried. Soft whispers. Nova felt a tremor. She looked to the horizon. A red flash lit the sky. Lily gasped. That is a distress flare. Nova stood. We must go. They raced down the dune. They reached the hangar. Reed was outside. He looked at the sky. Reed said, an Academy shuttle was hit. We have survivors on the desert plain. Nova said, send me. Reed nodded. You and Lily, take Rover 2. They climbed into the rover. They drove across sand. The engines rumbled. They found the broken shuttle. Wreckage lay scattered. Smoke rose. 3 cadets crouched beside. An injured pilot. Nova jumped out. She ran to the pilot. He had a chest wound. She knelt. She opened her pack. She pulled alien medical patches. She applied one. The patch glowed and healed the wound. The pilot gasped in relief. Lily helped the other cadets move debris. Nova looked at the injuries. She applied patches again. Soon all were safe. The injured climbed into the rover. They drove back. The pilot said, thank you, cadet. You saved. May, Nova said, we are classmates. Back at the hangar, Reed waited. He saw Nova bring the pilot over. Reed said, excellent work. Your father would be proud. Nova smiled. Lily said, you saved lives today. Nova felt tired but happy. She whispered, we protect life. That night, Nova wrote home. She told her father of the battle, the rescue, and the bonds she formed. She ended, I face challenges, but I learn and grow. One day I will bring peace between worlds. She closed her datapad. She lay back on her bunk. She whispered into the dark, tomorrow I will be stronger. Morning light warmed the academy courtyard. Nova stepped outside with Lily and Cadet Ethan. They walked in silence. Today's ceremony was for graduation. Nova's heart fluttered. All cadets formed lines. Instructors stood in front. Commander Hayes held a hollow scroll listing names. The crowd grew quiet. Cadet Nova Sinclair, Hayes called. Nova stepped forward. She felt every eye. She saw humans and aliens alike. Hayes continued. You have completed training. You proved skill, courage, and honor. You led rescues, defended Solaria, and united cadets. You stand as a symbol of unity between humans and aliens. Applause broke out. Nova bowed and stepped back. She felt pride and relief. Next, team medals were handed. Lily received one. Ethan got one too. They came to Nova with smiles. Lily said, congratulations. Ethan said, you earned this. Nova said, thank you, both of you. Later, the academy commander spoke about future service. Nova listened. She thought of her father. She felt his lessons carried her here. After the ceremony, cadets mingled. Nova saw faces she once feared. Now they greeted her. Cadet Marcus, who teased her first day, approached. He extended his hand. Nova shook it. Marcus said, I was wrong. You showed us all what humans and aliens can be. Nova nodded. We learned together. Lily joined them. They talked and laughed. That night, Nova stood on the balcony with Lily and Ethan. Moons shone down. Stars felt close. Ethan said, where will you go now? Nova looked at the horizon. I will join the peacekeeping fleet. I want to help worlds understand each other. Lily said, I will come with you. Ethan said, count me in too. Nova looked at both. She smiled. Together we will bring peace. They stayed on the balcony until dawn. They watched the skies change from dark blue to pale gold. The next day they boarded the Alliance cruiser. Nova carried her saber and gear. She paused at the gangway and looked back at the academy. She remembered her first day. Whispers, fear, hate. Then trials, friendship, acceptance. She felt growth. She felt hope. She stepped onto the cruiser. Lily and Ethan followed. The ship door closed. Nova stood in the cruiser's hull. She looked at Lily and Ethan. She said, "This is just the start of our adventure." Lily said, "I cannot wait." Ethan said, "Let's show them what humans and aliens can do." Nova walked to the deck. She looked out at the stars. The cruiser's engines engaged. She felt the hum beneath her feet. She stood tall. Her pale green skin glowed softly. Her eyes held determination. She whispered, "For unity and peace." The cruiser rose from the dock. They soared into the sky. Nova watched planets pass. She thought of Earth and her father. She thought of Solari. She felt two worlds within her. She felt strength and hope. She closed her eyes. She breathed deeply. She opened them and faced the stars. Nova smiled. A new chapter awaited.